Welcome everyone. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and it's Saturday night over on Ustream.com. Uh, Ustream.tv, and we are broadcasting live. I stream every Wednesday and Saturday night. I've got Alcohol Link everywhere, my friends, and we did Alcohol Link what 3 streams ago. Anyway, you're more than if you're watching this on YouTube. There, I am recording this live. There is a live audience with a bunch of people, lovely people in chat, so I'm not necessarily talking to myself when I talk. So obviously tonight is a huge night. I've got a stencil release. I don't even know how to say it. Uh, I don't even know what to say. I'm absolutely blown away, honored, blessed to be part of the Stencil Girl team. And I'm going to show them right after I spend 2 minutes on these coloring books. We'll talk a lot about that. We're going to do some jelly plating tonight, some lovely crusty bits, which I am super excited about. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be showing multiple different techniques with my stencil designs. So, here we go. Did I see Wendy coming in? All right. Um, so I bought this one at Michael's, and Michael's, you can't use a coupon on coloring books. But this one's called the Ultimate Coloring Book Treasury, and it's made by Design Originals. And look at all the alcohol ink on this. That's bad news. Anyway, it's a combination of a couple of their different ones, their different books. And I do like that it has this spiral bound. Hey, Sin. And it's got some examples at the front. You may or may not like them, but some of you that may have some of these Design Original books, because like I said, they're coming out of 4 different ones, I believe, and it has all the artist's name at the bottom. This one is Valentina Harper design here, and there's a quote on the other side, but it's just all kind of different stuff. The paper's pretty thick. I think in Canada it was $23.99, maybe 24. So in the US that's what, like $17 or something. And it does have an ISBN number, so you could probably get it over on Amazon. Welcome, Jennifer. So I really like this. Design Originals has one of those quote books. Be proud of who you are. I like some of those. There's some mandalas, but look at this. Some pursue happiness, others create it. But look at those Zentangled paintbrushes. I'd spend $20 just to get just to get that page. But it also has a cute cat. So some Day of the Dead stuff. Some from their hippie book, I think. So it's a nice one. It's got some intricate and some that are not so intricate. Some Zen doodling. Ooh, look at this. Enjoy the day, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. How nice is coffee? Because everybody needs some coffee. All right. And quickly, anamorphia is one that, I'm trying to work on. Man, sometimes it makes my eyes cross. But I've been trying to color. I've been trying the technique of painting, putting the acrylic paint on first, and then this shading business. But I don't know. Oh, my links aren't open, Janet. Please and thank you. So, sorry for the shadow. I don't even know if I'm doing it right. This one book, I mean, I've started up over here too. It does have, like dense squiggles in certain spots where it's supposed to be, I think shading more, but I think it looks rough. I don't know if it's too harsh. Did I not blend it down enough? Like, so the darkness is here. It goes from like maybe too dark to light. Maybe I'm being too self-critical. I don't know. um, but I do try to write. I have this like line post-it note I got like for 33 cents for a pack of 3 on clearance at Michael's. So I write down the colors of colored pencils I'm using, and I was just doing these body parts in marker. So I don't know. All I did was that particular part, but probably being too hard on myself. Might have chose the wrong. I don't know what's right, what's wrong, but I should have looked. I think this is a Komodo dragon, and Komodo dragons aren't green. so, so I shouldn't have blend it out more, Janet, you think? But I might have already got it too waxy to blend any more colors. But I think really that's all I've done in this book. I stopped, painted some of the flamingos pink. Anyway, let's get on to the exciting business. Now, first thing, I have a little game for us tonight because I am pretty upset that Canada Post has not been my friend in creating these stencils. Sorry if that was a little loud. My set of, so when you design stencils, you get a set of blue copies, which is just a test type copy. And the first ones they sent out got lost in them. Well, they didn't get lost. They were just taking so long. The second set was sent out, and I got them both, one after the other, the next day. And so my good copies are not here yet. I was really hoping they'd show up yesterday because, again, they were sent and the lovely Canada Post sent them back. So I apologize for that. So the game tonight, I'm going to say it a ton of times. The stencils that I'm showing you, yours that you order from StencilGirlProducts.com, and my wonderful friends are going to put links in here, I'm sure, is that yours are going to be thicker. These are just test copies. And I apologize that I have to use these test copies to stream tonight with my Gelli plate. But, you know, that's what happens, right? Canada Post. Well, I can't even say thank you, Canada Post, for being free, because it's not. So, anyways, again, when you get the stencils, they're going to be a thicker plastic, more durable. These are just a little, the test copies, but they'll work for tonight. And then I'm sure by Wednesday I'll have the new set, and then we'll do other techniques with those. But they will come in a nice package, thick stencil. Obviously, I've been using these on the Gelli plate. These are mostly masks. We won't go into the debate of what's a mask and what's a stencil. Technically, it's a mask though. This one's called Drink Some Coffee, and yes, you know, I was this close to calling it Drink Some Coffee Paula, but I thought that might be a little, what's the word, arrogant of me, maybe? I'm not sure. I didn't want to, you know, I was this close though. But this is one's called Drink Some Coffee. And you know, I wrote on the Stencil Girl website there that the L's, and I've said this story a lot because the L's show up in a lot of my different artwork, because years and years and years ago I found one of my mother's books at my grandmother's house where she was practicing her script, and you know, she would practice just with a bunch of L's, and so I've done it all my life the same way. So these are hand-drawn stencils. That's why you see some parts are a little wonky, because I'm a little wonky, right? One of my mottos has always been, you know, make it a little messy, then it shows that it, you know, nobody will know that that it wasn't intended that way. So drink some coffee, and that's why, you know, Drink Some Coffee Paula, as you guys that follow me know, because it was personal, you know, with the L's from my mother. That's why I wanted to name the stencil that way. But I absolutely love this. You know me, I love coffee. I collect coffee sleeves from all different companies. I mean, I drink tea too out of these cups, but you know, all different size cups. I wanted a bunch of different sizes. And you know, in the next few weeks, we'll show you how to mask certain ones so that if you're making a card or some type of special project, you can just mask certain parts off. So drink some coffee. The second coffee one, I wanted to make one that was a little bit different without the L's, you know, because sometimes that's a little fancy. But it's also tight, you know, the lines are a little bit thinner on this particular stencil. And I've got some fun things planned. This one, you know, you don't have to look at it as just coffee cups, right? My friend Jane says they look like boxes. You can turn them upside down. You can make them into robots. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things, right? Don't just think outside the stencil. I'm not going to talk about boxes anymore. um, and I'm just blown away. Sorry, I was reading the chat there for a second. Thank you, Carrie. So boxes. Or do they look like takeout boxes? Should I put the little thing around them. These are 9x12 stencils, by the way. And last but surely not least, two of my favorite things that I can't live without in my life. I'm just using this yellow piece of paper as a so that you can see the stencil, is stacked books. Books in general. And again, I wanted more of a simple stencil that, I originally, when I was designing this, I rounded some of the corners. I wanted to look a little bit more distressed, but then I thought that if I did it that way, sorry, I was just looking for something. If I did it that way, it wouldn't be as universal's not the right word, but you'd have more options without those distress kind of parts. You can, I will be distressing it myself, right, with a bunch of different jelly plate techniques and such, and of course other art techniques. I'm going to show you some art with it here in a second. So, it's kind of Mondrian inspired as well. You can mask. Yeah, it's more versatile. Thanks, Jean. Hi, Vicky. Thank you very much. Hi, Ella. Welcome, Lady Silver Wolf. Looks like a filing cabinets and waste baskets. Hey, I gotta write that down. It does look like recycling bins almost. See, I love the imagination. Stained glass. Yeah, there's lots of different doodling and fun things, different techniques I'm going to use again in the coming weeks. These are not just made for the jelly plate, although they were, these, I specifically also designed a lot of these for my crusty bit techniques, which you'll see here in a second. A lot of you have probably seen these on Instagram and Facebook. I've been tweeting them out, that type of thing, but I'm looking for my... So, for example, stacked books. This is one of the jelly plate crusty bits. Looks like columns. That's a good one, Ange. So I made it to look like, vintage leather, and then I can go back in here with my, color pencil crayons or Neocolor 2s or anything, and then I can shade it to make it look really old. I also left it open so that you can write book titles, whatever. You could do your journaling in here, or you can write your book titles. I'm trying to think of a book title. I guess I'll just write JournalArtista. Right? And you can decorate it any way you want, but I thought this was fun, this particular jelly print. So we're going to replicate this tonight as well, this particular faux leather look. I also did, so, I have the bigger jelly plate. What is it, 12 by 14, I believe, made by Gelli Arts. These are the coffee cups from Coffee Please, with the same faux leather type look. And again, I can paint over this red right now, right? Just because we have the full sheet printed off the jelly plate doesn't mean we can't paint over this and to make different colors. Hi, Leanne. Thanks so much. Again, this is Coffee Please. I used in the background a Mary Beth Shaw stencil. We got some PBOs going on in here. I don't know if you can see the gold iridescence there. In the second layer of this particular one is one of Mary Beth Shaw's stencils, also from StencilGirlProducts.com. But I love the green and the gold type look. And then you can, cut this down, use it in your art journal, tip it in. Excuse me. Hi, Orla. So you can take a little sip of coffee. So we'll be doing some of this again tonight. I'm cutting this particular page down, into card size, and then masking off and just stenciling one of the cups would make an awesome card. We shall be doing some of that later. Again, this is stacked books used in different with different colors. Another Mary Beth Shaw. This is a gear stencil in the background. But remember, if you can stack your books upright. Well, there is a straight line on the bottom if you were stacking them upright, or you can stack them on the sides. kind of looks like railroad tracks. There's a bunch of different things that you could look. Hey, Julie. All right, and last one again. This was the other side of this particular one, because I do 2 at a time here with the coffee cups. This is a Seth After stencil. So if you're on StencilGirl Products, looking at my stencils, definitely go out and check Seth After. Has some new ones. He also released a couple days ago, I believe, or last week. They are awesome. They're kind of stencils, they're kind of masks, and they would be perfect to go with the open, you know, with my stencils that have the real open design like this. Check my recording. It says that it's recording, but you know how that works. Buildings, tiles. Did I just say hello to Travis? I'm not sure. I can't remember. So we'll do some of those tonight. Lastly, drink some coffee with the gears in the background. Yes, I know my L's are backwards. So, but you know, they could just be doodles to somebody else. They don't, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be L's. So I apologize if Ustream is having a couple blips tonight. All of this stuff is going to be on, once I get my stencils, I bet you they'll come Monday. There's no mail in Canada on Saturdays. I guarantee they're going to be here on Monday, because that's just, you know, Murphy's Law, the way it works. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm going to mostly use them for books because I love books. I should do a journal page, an art journal page just with all the titles of my coloring books. So I hope you guys enjoy them and like them. I put a lot of thought and effort and designed what I loved, so hopefully you guys love them too. One more last thing. If I know a bunch of you have already ordered them, and I so appreciate the love and the support from everybody, from everyone. They will come with a mask on the outside to protect them in the packaging, because even though they're going to be thicker than these particular ones, these are the blue copies again. And that's why I say it's a drinking game, because I'm going to say it about 25 times tonight or more. Your stencils that you order are going to be a thicker, better quality than these ones. These are just my blue copies because Canada Post sent them back. But they will come, if you see this, with the outside part, right? All you gotta do, there's a tiny little, you know, we used to call them nicks, K-N-I, in the die cutting world in boxes. You nick it so that the sheets, when they come out, so that they don't separate going through the machine. So you're just going to cut off, that protects it in shipping. You just cut off the tiny little spots there, and it's only like 2 millimeters when I say tiny, and got that little bit of extra plastic, same as coffee please, for example, right? You got a little all the way around. Again, that's going to help you so that your delicate masks are not going to get bent up in shipping. All right, so let's get my stencils back out. I also have some other StencilGirl. And I've got a selection of other stencils here that are going to complement these. Put this one on the side. I also have a bunch of, and you'll see a little bit later as well, once I start jelly plating here in about 1 minute. When we start stenciling, we got a lot of deli paper that had, you know, when you're doing the crusty bit technique and you like to start with black like I do, you get a lot of these deli papers that are black, that have a lot of the black. Yes, Cheryl, you just have to take off, when you get your stencils, there's these tiny, it's just attached, and you want to take scissors. It's only attached by 2 millimeters, the tiniest bit. You just snip it off. I mean, if you want to use it all the way, there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you if that's how you want to use your stuff. But if you want to use your stencil that way, but you know, I suggest cutting it off. It's so that it doesn't get bent up in shipping, right? Because there's, especially say for example, this is drink some coffee. you know, you got these delicate ones that are sticking out, and if you put that in packaging, they might get all bent up. So nobody needs some bent stencils. So actually, thank you to Stencil Girl for doing that, because I never thought of that. All right, I did do some prints, you know, different ones, half prints in red, and I took some print. This is actually with Coffee Please. You can't really tell because I used some thicker paper, but what it left was just some cool crusty bits texture. So we'll get a bunch of these tonight, but this is the one. This, I love this one. It had a little bit of purple. It picked up a little bit of, you know what? I don't know, Marion. Marion says she joined the Stencil Girl Club. Any plans to have one from you? That would be wonderful. I don't think any plans so far. I guess it depends how successful I am. No, I'm not sure. They probably plan that months out, my friends. They are very efficient and wonderful people to work with over at Stencil Girl, that's for sure. But I love this. I love how it's just all the different colors, how there's so many white spaces. So, okay. Enough of that. I got a new brayer. Everybody needs a new brayer once in a while, especially if you do a lot of jelly plating. I try to keep it clean, but you know how that works. All right, so the thing I always suggest, well, let's get out the jelly plate. That's step number 1. And you can do this technique, my friends, with any size jelly plate. Just because I use the big one doesn't mean you can't use your small ones, your absolute tiny ones. This technique will work on any size jelly plate, from the tiny star to the ginormous one. All right, so you can see it already has some crusty bits on it for some other applications. Lots of time. So this is what you need. And what was I going to say? I was going to add, before I explained it, is that I'm going to be giving a lot of tips tonight. So if you want to take some notes, if you're new here and really like this technique, because there's a lot of variables. So I'm going to talk about some of those variables and what's important here shortly. So one of the things, you know, I've got some hand sanitizer going on over here, but sometimes I'll just take some packing tape and pick up these few crusty bits on the plate. And I call these crusty bits, some people think it's crude, I think it's hilarious, because my favorite part of jelly printing or mono printing are these leftover crusty stuff or the dried paint on your plate. Kathy says, Stencil Girl is great. My dog opened my stencil because the mail person left the envelope where he could get at it. And he opened and ate the stencil. Oh, no, that's bad news. And they sent me a new one for free. Oh, that's so nice. Even though she emailed and said that she would pay for it. Well, Bella chews a lot of things, but if she chewed one of my stencils, I would not be happy. She wrecked one of my Inktense. Pencils, a couple markers. So lots of times if you leave these, you know, as my friend Jean says, crusty bits on top of crusty bits, when you start pulling, you know, new sheets, or once we start layering some other paint on here, because we're going to be adding 4 coats of paint before we pull our print. So lots of times these, you know, extra crusty bits are a nuisance. This one doesn't even want to come off. Well, let's try a print. If it gets too much, I'll clean it real quick with some hand sanitizer. A lot of people use different methods to clean their plate. Lots of times I don't clean my plate. So that's just the way it is. Now the first layer, I like the look of black, and we'll do some a little bit later tonight. But I really like the look of black as the first layer. I'll show you back here an example again. And what you have to remember with this technique is that the first color you put down, we're working backwards. The first color you put down is going to be the top color or the top image on your print. So we're working in reverse. That's, you got to kind of think in reverse. And I really like this grungy look that has this main stencil, or what you want to focus on, in black. But we can try some other colors combinations tonight and see where we go. Now, I like to use student grade acrylic. You can use craft paint. I find the stickiness maybe of the student grade acrylic works a little bit better for this technique. I definitely like the look of this. You can use artist grade if you would like, but I don't know what you guys are talking about in chat. Oh boy. But this is a Rayotech acrylic, which I think is a Tri-Art. It's a student grade, yeah, of the Tri-Art brand. But any student grade paint, I believe you also get what you pay for it. But again, try them both out. If you got a little bit of, just looking for my palette knife here. Try them both out. See what you like better. Lots of times you'll see me mix some layers student grade paint, some layers craft paint, sometimes some even artist grade paint. But this first layer, and I really like to use a student grade because it's just looks nicer in my humble opinion. All right, so this is just black paint. It's in a jar because I use so much of it. So I'm just going to put it on the plate. Now, it's important to note that depending on the size of the plate you have, it really makes a difference on, how much paint you put down, right? Anytime I go to a small, and I'm just going to brayer this across, anytime I go to a smaller Gelli plate, forget it. I mess it all up every time because I'm not used to, if I'm used to using the big one like this, I tend to put way too much paint on one of the smaller plates. So you kind of, sometimes every time you get out your Gelli plate, if you don't do it every day, you have to relearn sometimes. But you definitely have to play around with how much paint to put down on, well, any size Gelli plate. But if you're used to one and you start playing with a different color or a different size Gelli plate, then I definitely suggest you should do a little bit of practice. But practice is fun. All right. So you do want a thin coat though, right? You don't want to, it's up to you. Again, like I say, you got to play around, see what you like better. I'm just going to lay stacked books as the main one. So this first layer in the crusty bit technique, you want an open stencil. And that's part of the reason I designed these stencils. You want an open stencil because the next layer of paint, you'll use a finely detailed stencil. And you'll get to see all those cool details within the either stacked books or the coffee cup. So I'm going to get a piece of deli paper here. You want to use deli paper, copy paper, parchment, something that's going to get into the small details. Obviously, like with the drink some coffee, these L's, if you're using a thicker, say 110-pound cardstock or some such thing, you're not going to be able to get into these smaller spots. So I want to remove most of this black paint, if not almost all of it. What did you guys get today? All right. So once you're able to see the color through it, we're going to take it off. And there's lots of fun things that we're going to do with that. Like I said, I'm studying Basquiat, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. That'll be pretty bad if I'm studying him and I can't pronounce his name right. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Elizabeth. So I'm going to be doing some cool collaging with that. Now, there's not so much need to rush in most of this process, except the second and third layer, but I'll talk about that when you need to rush. We're going to let all of this dry. Now, depending on how grungy you want it to look, see that's pretty grungy over here, I could put before I remove the mask or stencil, I'm going to call them stencils just for the sake of it, before you remove them, you can take your deli paper, flip it over or a new piece and remove some of the distressed looking parts in there. It can be as clean as you want or as distressed as you want, depending on how much paint you remove. But I like this look. Already you get the imperfections on the books that kind of looks like faux rubber. All right, very important. If you haven't seen this before or don't know what a jelly plate is, I'm going to say it, that you can't use a heat gun. Might blow up the place, might set something on fire. That's bad news. So if your jelly plate stains, that doesn't hurt anything. They kind of yellow over time, you know, not a big deal to me. Hair dryer, but you also want to make sure your hair dryer has a cool button. Mine's a button and I have to hold it in the whole time my hair dryer's on. And I mean, it's a severe button. It's hard to push. But anyway, you want to make sure you have a cool button on the hair dryer you use as well. You don't want to be heating this bad boy up. Hair dryer. So the important thing, probably not just thin layers of paint. That's important. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But drying these um, layers in between, and I mean completely drying, is the most important part. If this is not completely dry and you lay another color paint over, it's not going to pull completely at the end. So I know it takes a lot of time, and I know everybody's anxious, right? You want to see the print, but believe me, this time spent this way is worth it in the outcome. So I truly appreciate everybody being here. I see a bunch of new names in the chat. I also see a bunch of anonymous. You're more than welcome to join us. It's easy to create a password and a username on Ustream, and we would love to meet you. We're a very nice group. I was lost for words there for a second. So I'm just tapping it to see if it removes any paint. I can pretty much feel that it's dry now. Very important. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be completely dry. All right, so let's think about colors. I guess I'll choose the colors first, and then maybe you guys can you can pick the next one. Let's see. That's the hardest part of this whole process, is picking the type of the stencils you want to use, although I've already picked those out, and the colors you want to use. There's just so many options. No, my other secret, exciting news, I think it's going to be in the first week of December. So I hope my audio is okay. It's going to be the first week in December sometime. So we'll know more about that shortly. So I'm thinking, let's do something. I've got some PBO. This is a Dyna color, which means it has it's a pearlescent iridescent color. This one is iridescent blue green. I've got some medium magenta. I think with this one I'm going to put two different colors. So I've got the colors picked out. This second step, you have to wait. You better pick your stencils out, because once you put the paint down, we got to pick it up right away. So that means I need another piece of deli paper. You can also use parchment or some such paper, again, to be able to get into all the smaller crevices. All right. So I love this Mary Beth Shaw gear stencil. I especially love it over the books, so I'm going to use that one on there. And let's see. Hey, let's try something interesting. This is this one is a Seth Apter stencil from StencilGirl Products, and it's got a ton of alcohol ink going on here, my friends. Brutal. Is the stencil? This one is. Sorry, not the other one. Now we don't have a stencil on there. No, this is dried paint. So I'm going to try this bad boy. We're going to have to turn it upside down, right, to get the, we're going to have to turn it upside down so that hopefully the words come out the right side. Every time I do something like this, you have to go, get all confused, right? I have to think twice. Okay, if I put it this way, I've got to flip it that way. Is it Is it going to be, the writing going to be right side up, back side? Excuse me while I take a sip. All right, so I've got the two stencils I want to use. I got paint, so let's sprayer. You know, I've been using black paint on this sprayer, so I want to make sure, especially if I'm going into some lighter colors, I just take a quick wipe of it, quick wipe with a baby wipe over it to so we don't contaminate the color with any black. Look how clean this bad boy is. Whew! Isn't a clean brayer exciting? A brand new brayer. All right, so I'm going to use two colors. I think I'll try to do two. Again, this is Tex Basics paint, which is Tex student grade line. This is medium magenta, one of my favorite colors. And then again, PBO iridescent blue green. You can get, you know, it's readily available in Canada to Canadians at Curry's, which have actually really good prices on them. And then if you get a sale, it's even bonus. And I know they sell them at Blix, or they used to at Blix Online. All right, so I'm going to start down here. And you'll see me go a couple different ways with this first color. That's okay. It's not going to be all muddy together. But once you start mixing this other color in, you got to take some time and roll it out so it doesn't get too muddy. So the goal with this is, again, not to put too much paint on it. I can tell that I need a little bit more paint over here. Tiny bit. And I like to put my paint on, you know, in lines like that. I'm not sure if it matters, but again, the goal, can you guys, some can see my stencils down over here? You do want to be able to see a thin enough coat that you can see some parts of those stencils there. And I'm telling you that so, you know, to help you judge how much paint to put down. So again, I'm going to turn this bad boy upside down. Let's hope that it comes out the right way. And again, who knows what's going to happen with all this alcohol ink on it. Might change the color of the green. I'm not sure. Again, a Mary Beth Shaw stencil. Gears from StencilGirl Products, of course. And I got a piece of Gelli. And another piece of Gelli. This one you kind of have to be a little bit quick. Now, this second step, you know, you really want to make sure you get into all the little, you know, fine designs on some of these stencils. You can see how the pink's coming through. That helps you know when you've picked it up. But you don't want to waste so much, you know, you want to be quick, or else you start picking up some of that black, right? I probably wasn't quick enough. So you want to remove the paint, but at the same time retain the black, which means you have to be quick. You have to be quick. The more you rub it, that's where you're pulling up the crusty bit. Now, none of any prints that you do won't be wrong, right? They're still going to look good. Don't feel that this is the only way to do it. And there's a ton of Gelli, you know, mono printing techniques out there. Oh, so look at how much the alcohol ink stained that. I bet you it's probably going to stain my plate, but we'll deal with that later. So again, you can always take a little sneaky peek, as I like to say, on the back. Can anybody see that? All right. So again, we have to let this completely dry before we put the next layer on. If it's not completely dry, it's not going to pull up properly in the end. Hair dryer. Oh no, Elizabeth still blackberry pie. Everybody's watching intently. So again, this is on cool. And my friends, don't think that you have to use a hair dryer. Lots of times I jelly plate, I put a layer down, I go do something else, I come back when it's dry. You don't have to, this just speeds up the process, but you can walk away and do something else while it's drying. You also can sit there with the fan. Oh, lots of paint over on that side. Just don't use anything hot. I'm definitely going to have to clean my plate because look, there's this crusty bit action's going too far. Hey, Darcy? So, let's test it. No, nowhere near dry. Everybody try to drink some coffee. Sometimes I cheat and let the hot air go on it for about 2 seconds. But, hey, yeah, if you don't have a hair dryer, use a fan. I've been there, done that. The next layer doesn't require the hair dryer, my friend, so we're safe. So I'm going to pick this up because I have this cool alcohol ink thing happening over here. And I'm sure it would happen, the same way if you were using ink spray like dilutions. Oh yeah, Debbie. Use your plates at the same time. The only thing, if I use my other plates at the same time, sometimes the paint will go in between the two plates, so it's just extra cleaning for you later. Hair dryer. Oh, I think it's almost dry now, my friends. Dan's happy birthday, Dan. I don't know if you can hear me tonight. And I'm tapping my hair to make sure it's dry. If it's sticky, not dry. Hey, Julie. So good to see everyone tonight. It's not drying under that alcohol. You also don't want to use a heat gun on alcohol ink, so I'm being doubly dangerous. I'm living on the edge over here. Oh, no, yeah, that's a good idea, Debbie. Switch to the other size plates while one dries. And then just each one has different stages. Yeah, that's a great idea. All right. I think we're good. I have a little hook right here beside me on my desk. One of those 3M command hooky things. Thingy-doos. I just hang my hair dryer on. All right. So I want to pull this in a light color, you know, so I can see this action happening over here. And we got, 2 colors there already. So I'm going to pull it with a cream, unbleached titanium, as Liquid Tex Basics calls it. Unbleached titanium. And this is going to be what we call the pickup print. So this is where the fun stuff happens. So you want to think about the paper you want to use. I like to print on 110-pound cardstock from Staples. And I've also got some, these this paper that has perforations in it that you print your business cards on. I think it would be nice. I got to make some more of those. So that's what I'm going to print on. You can print on any paper you want, though. We can, I could also pull this with a big sheet of deli paper or a couple smaller sheets. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later tonight. Oh, that's titanium white. We don't want that. Well, I guess it wouldn't be terrible. but I'm looking for the cream. Sorry about that. I've got a lot of different colors of Liquid Tex Basics, and I put them in this bin, but it's not working for me. They just get all clustered together, if you know what I mean, Vern. All right, unbleached. Now we got unbleached titanium. Oh, Michaels also has Liquid Tex Basics paint on sale this week, and if I knew I needed some unbleached titanium, I would have bought it. All right. You could use any light color you want, but lots of times I like to pull. Oh boy, this is gonna be, look at that alcohol ink coming right through. You know what? Was it alcohol ink or was it a spray? No, I'm pretty sure this was an alcohol ink. So now I've got to be careful. I don't want to transfer too much of that blue all over the rest of the page. I'm gonna have some problems with. See this crusty bit? He's gonna give me some problems here. So I'm gonna roll like this, and now this is interesting. I love how this is gonna be an interesting pull, my friends. So again, you want a thin layer on this particular one. You want to be able to start seeing the stencil coming through. If you've got too much paint, roll it off on a different piece of paper. And I just put on nice, I got some crusty bits that are going to be temperamental up there too. So definitely going to have to take a minute after this to clean my plate. All right, so I always work with 2 sheets of paper. You know, that's just the way. So I butt one 8.5 by 11 sheet up to the edge, and I butt the other one. It doesn't bother me that it's only half printed. You know, I'll print half on this particular page. I'll do a print on one half, and then the next time I do my next pull, I'll pull it on the other half. So then you'll have 2 different designs, but it'll be on the full page. All right. Or it'll use up the full page, I should say. So I just have another piece of deli, and my wonderful friend Jan gave me this deli paper. It's ginormous. It fits the whole plate. I think it's 14 by 14. She found it on Amazon. So this is another important part. You really have to give it a massage, and you have to be patient. So as some of my friends say in chat, you have to give it a 3-minute massage. Maybe not that long. And I'm really pressing in, guys. I'm pressing in with my fingers. Not gonna hurt the plate. You know, this is just paper. There's nothing sharp, except maybe if you have some long nails. I'm not necessarily have long nails, but. All right. So I can pull off this now. And these are just from multiple different, a few different pulls. Alright, so again, you really want to make sure, because what's happening is that last layer of paint is drying onto your paper, right? And as it absorbs into the paper, then it dries onto the paper, then it removes all the other layers that we put underneath. Hey, Lynn? Anybody I missed? Alright, so you can always take, shouldn't say you can, you should always take a little peek to see, see, look, I'm not getting all those bits up, so that means I haven't massaged it long enough. Oh, I gotta be careful. Look, this sheet that has the business cards in it, I was a little rough with that massage, so it's starting to rip. Yeah, isn't that fun, Jane? The striped deli. I'm just crisscrossing them. I think it'll be cool to collage. Just with this extra strip that's on the top of the plate, because the 8.5 by 11 paper and the plate's 12, right? All right. Everybody ready? I can see some of them. See, this is one of those dried, crusty bits that didn't go so well. Oh, yum. Oh. So as you can see, oh, because we put two different shades on the plate, and you can just see the ghost of the gears in the background. You can see where I removed some of the black paint, so now the titanium, unbleached titanium, I wanted to say Titan Buff because that's Golden calls it Titan Buff. You can see some of the, where the deli paper was wrinkled a little bit for some texture. I really like this one. This is a fun, different colors. Different colors. I don't normally do, more than one color, but that one was nice. So let's, and again, it's not like you can leave your paper on too long. I wouldn't leave it on overnight, but all right, gotta be careful that these don't rip. So let's see what happens. Now, again, my stencil was severely dirty. It had alcohol ink on it. Oh yeah, that's bad news. Well, what do you guys think? It actually looks pretty cool over here because it mixed with the PBO, but it's very dark. Very dark in this corner. And you can't see much. I mean, you can see the time from the Seth Apter stencil, but so I love this little piece down here. This is going to be a cool business card down there, but it's a little bit different. So I suggest maybe there was a little bit too much ink on that bad boy. Hey, Judy, it's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. And because some of them, I'll print them out, but when I cut them out, they won't be that bad. But just FYI, if you've got that much alcohol ink on your stencil, it might be, especially dark, especially if that was that dark. All right. A little bit of cheap hand sanitizer from the dollar store. I'm just gonna, some people like to wear gloves with this process, but I don't got time for that. I don't have any time for that. Travis thinks it was a happy accident, the alcohol ink. All right, you gotta give it a massage, let it dissolve the paint a little bit. Especially the edges of my plate get a little extra crusty. But anybody that has a jelly plate knows that the edges can get a little crusty. But sometimes needs to be done. I think some people use like mineral oil and different things to clean the plate off, but I think hand sanitizer works just as well. I'm not sure if the mineral oil or whatever's quicker. So one thing about baby wipes on your jelly plate, sometimes it leaves some fuzzies. Now, fuzzies on a jelly plate, bad news, right? I only use, thanks to my wonderful friend Dale, Huggies brand of baby wipes. And so I don't get too many fuzzies, but depending on type of the brand that you get, you might get little pieces of the baby wipe hanging on your plate. There may be some interesting texture, but I don't know if that's the kind of texture I'm looking for. Now, maybe I'm not as careful with my jelly plate as some people, but again, I like the distressed kind of rough look, so I'm not worried if it has divots. But I mean, that being said, I don't take any sharp objects to it or anything. But I'm not afraid to press too hard on top of it. Some people, you think, oh, I don't want to damage it. I can't press too hard, but I'm not afraid. I am not afraid of my jelly plate. All right. And so we're almost done. I mean, you don't have to do this after every print, believe me. The rest of the night, I won't have to clean the plate. So don't worry about that. It's not like You definitely don't have to clean it every time you print something. Okay, start her again. Yeah, you can also have, some people have cat hair or dog hair. I call that fur femora. Everybody has the odd bit of fur femora around. Alright, I think I'm going to try some. This is Liquid Tex Basics Cadmium Red Deep Hue. This is supposed to be opaque, so instead of using black, let's try a different color in the first layer. Bella's shedding up a storm. It's been so warm here. I'm not complaining. It's just craziness. Craziness. It goes from negative something freezing to 18 degrees Celsius. Cadmium Red Deep. This is a nice color. It's definitely looking a little opaque. Shouldn't say a little. It's definitely looking opaque. So I can tell just by how slippery it is, if you say, that I might have a little bit too much paint on there. All right. So this time, let's print both coffee cup ones. We're going to print coffee. This one again is Coffee Please. And this one, I put that one on wonky. I'm going to put this bad boy upside down and wonky. Well, so I'm using some red paint. So let's go over. Let's see how. I'm going to put it up right on top of this bad boy. See what happens. So using my fingers. Yeah, the red is nice. Hi, Nico. Oh, 1 second, Carrie. Oh, do it again. Well, that's a hot mess. That's interesting. We're gonna get some fun line. Now, see what I mean about too much red paint? We almost want to go right down to the plate, right? With this layer, I gotta get another piece of deli here. So I definitely use too much paint, but that's okay. I want to go back. There's already too much paint on here, so I can't get in between the L's here. I'm gonna have to order me some deli paper. I love these big ones that Jan gave me. I'm gonna have to order more of it. So again, I want to use my fingertips to get between the L's of the drink some coffee stencil. All right, there we go. That's a fun piece. Anyway, I'm gonna lift it up. So remember, the first layer that we see here is gonna be the top layer that we see on when we pick up the print, right? Just as the black was on these prints, the red is going to be top layer. So now we got to think about colors. If this red, which is hi Michelle, this is cadmium red deep hue. Cadmium red deep hue. Cadmium red deep. So far so good. I'll have to do Carrie's colors. And the next one I'm gonna have to use bright aqua green. Okay, let's try this. Well, we can leave it for a second while we think about the next stencils. Before I turn my heat gun on. Let's see. I wonder where my other Seth After stencil is. It should be right here. Oh, here it is. I can't wait to get his new ones. I think they're coming. I think they were shipped. All right. This is a Carolyn Dubé. I think it's Dubé. But you know me. I apologize. But this one has some light molding paste. I think I used it. I absolutely love this. It looks like an old building. I guess it is an old building. Excuse me. But I left some light molding paste on the bad boy. So I might have trouble. Even if I use my even if we use deli, I'm gonna have to soak this bad boy in Murphy's oil and hope for the best. Hope for the best that it comes off. So let us see. Let us see. That one has a whole bunch of spray on it too. Yeah, we'll use the other Seth After stencil I have. I have one of his in the 6x6 as well, but the 9x12s, again, gotta remember that it goes upside down when we do it. Now, this is a very busy stencil, so I wouldn't want to put it on this side because because of the L's. We won't be able. Carolyn Doobie. Um, I love her work. You check her out on YouTube. So she also has stencils at StencilGirl Products.com. Yeah. So if I put this over here, we would lose the L's kinda, and we would lose some of the detail in Seth After stencils. So I'm gonna do this one over here, and on this particular one, I'll choose a different stencil that is more. Too many choices. Ooh, let's do this bubble one. This is a Mary Beth Shaw stencil. Yeah, I love this stencil. This one makes the best packing tape transfers through a stencil. All right, so I got my stencils picked out. Now I just want to make sure that this is dry. Hair dryer. See, I thought it was Dubai because that's kind of like the French. Like if I'm thinking in French, that's how I would say it. But so it's not going to take too long to dry because I let it dry kind of. One thing you got to remember in layering colors is, okay, if I put the next layer on, am I going to see it? So if I used like one of the yellows that I got an opaque yellow I'm going to try here in a moment. Ooh, I should try it right now. Wouldn't it be fun to do red, yellow, and then pull with blue? No. Well, it's opaque. Talking to myself again. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I did find an opaque yellow. I talked about it at the beginning. It's a studio acrylic. Uh, not a Dynacolor. It's PBO studio acrylic. It's not a Dynacolor, so it's not iridescent. Um, Opaque. This is opaque primary yellow. So let's try it out. I'm going to do yellow in the middle, and then we'll pull with blue. But what I was saying, or maybe I'll do blue. If you have a translucent color, such as not this particular yellow, but say the light cadmium yellow light hue. If I use cadmium yellow light hue in the second layer, excuse me, and then I pulled with a dark color, it's not going to look like a nice yellow. Excuse me, not necessarily. It may, but you have to think about whether colors are going to show up in the layering process. So I've got an opaque yellow. I want to test how opaque it is. So I've got some red in the foreground, and I'm calling it the foreground because that's what it's going to be when we pull the print. And this red's supposed to be opaque. So let's try the yellow, and then I can pull with blue. If I tried to use this translucent yellow in this second layer and then pulled with blue, it's not going to look yellow anymore. It's going to look green, right? Does that make sense, my friend? You know what I mean, Vern? So let's try some opaque yellow. Like I said, the hardest part of this technique is choosing the colors. I get all excited about this color. Now I get all excited about that color. Oh, boy. Thanks, Trina. Yeah, that's, again, that's why I designed such open stencils. A lot of us buy these stencils that have, and I love them, all those detailed bits to them, right? But for this technique, what I like to do is, and I'm just cleaning my brayer real quick, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want some of the red off. But I guess not cleaning it all the way, that's how I get crusty bits on my prayer. Yeah. So Trina says, love how your stencils are so open and what you just explained about the next one being too busy and such. Yeah, it's really helpful. So it's we all have a whole bunch of these fun stencils that are so detailed. Ramus, oh, I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong too. Is it pronounced Ramus Keegan? Um, she released stencils the same day as I did. So if you check my links over on Facebook, she has some cool masks that are very detailed that would look so cool with this technique in between the coffee please stencil and the stacked books. This one's the red, yellow, blue combination. Let's see how well. Again, I've been trying to study some Basquiat. So right now I'm working on symbols and imagery. He uses a lot of symbols in his art. So I'm kind of focusing on that. Then I'm going to focus on his color palette. And I just love his work. I mean, it incorporates all the things that, I like to do. Some collage, some doodling, some paint. So see how nice and thin this is? You can still see some of this stuff. I need to stop talking and start putting some. I'm going to put the circles. I apologize. If you go on to StencilGirl Products, and this one's going to go upside down. If you go on StencilGirlProducts.com and you search for artist, you can search for me, of course. My name's Paula Phillips, and you'll see all my designs there. But if you search Mary Beth Shaw, you'll see some of these bad boys. All right. Thanks, Janet. So, Gubby, here I'm chatting. Let's chat more work. So again, this stencil from Seth Apter is so nicely detailed that you really need a thin sheet of paper, be it parchment, copy paper, deli. And for those of you that don't know what deli paper is, it's a dry waxed paper, kind of like what they wrap your subs in. Do some Americans still call subs hoagies? I haven't heard that in a long time. All right, so let's take a peek. We got some ooh, uh-oh, some crusty bits are coming off. I put too much pressure on that part. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. I can see it already. Let's take a sneaky peek, even though some people hate that. Oh, my friends, this one's gonna be good. I get all excited. Ooh, I can't wait. Blue. I guess, see, again, if I use a translucent blue, it might mix with the yellow. So I'm going to use, of course we got to dry this. I think I'll use cerulean blue hue, one of my favorite colors. You can tell which are my favorite colors because I got the bigger containers of it. Hi, Mickey. Good to see you. Oh, wonderful, Travis. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the stencils. Hi, Denise. Denise says that people in Philadelphia call them hoagies still. Okay, this one's supposed to be opaque too. Cobalt blue hue and cerulean blue hue are supposed to both. So I'll use cobalt blue hue instead. It's a little bit more primary-ish. I've only ever called them subs. To be honest, I think it was the Cosby Show where the first time I heard of hoagies. Hair dryer. What did Nikki say about Basquiat? I gotta go back. Which file? The Radiant Child? Basquiat, the Radiant Child? I'm gonna have to order it on DVD if I can't download it. Oh boy. I've got hand sanitizer all over the place. Cosby Show was set in Philadelphia. So I just tap it to see if it feels a little bit sticky. That grinders, that's another one, Topaz, that I've heard you say. I've seen the Radiant Child, yeah. Oh, more than once. It was on my DVR recorded, and then my cable box went on the fritz, and I had to get a new one, and we lost it. Oh, I'm so upset. And not just that one, but all of my Women of Art series that I tape from TVO, which is like Canadian or Ontario's PBS station. The Art of China, The Art of Germany. I had all these documentaries taped. So ticked. Anyway, back to some art. Well, I guess that's art. So again, cobalt blue hue from Liquid Tex Basics. It says it's opaque. Ooh, before I put this on, let's think about what papers I'm using. So as I said earlier, because this is only halfway, I'm gonna print on the other side, see what happens. So I need to get some more cardstock over here. Because again, we have to be pretty quick after I put that next color on. I think I'm gonna start because I'm gonna start a new piece because it's got a hole. The perforations are coming apart, so I'm gonna get a new piece to do half on there. All right, got my papers ready. Put on some paint. Art journal. Is that you, Travis? Hey, Cheryl. Now again, if I was using a translucent orange, it would show green. So we are testing the opacity. Opacity? Sorry, we're testing how opaque this yellow is. Oh boy. I don't know how we got on the topic of subs. Why is it? All the chats always end up to food. What's going on, my friends? So again, I'm gonna line the one page up here. I'm gonna line up the cards over here. And I'm overlapping it a bit because, the perforation is 3/4 of an inch away from the plate. Or from the perforations. No, the perforation is 3/4 of an inch away from the cards. Sweet goodness. Alright, so I'm using this one sheet to just pick up all the extra bits from the top of my plate that's larger than my sheet size. Of course, you can print on a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock too. Sub equals deli paper. Yeah, that's what they wrap the subs in. Oh, that's where, yeah, that's why we were talking about subs, because of deli paper. I visited with Laurel Philadelphia once and had a Philly cheesesteak. Alright. So again, pushing real hard, giving it a massage. Pull the first layer. Uh-oh. That yellow's not looking so opaque now. Maybe I should have pulled it with white. There's no mistakes, right? It's just different than maybe I expected, but I think it's still gonna look good. This is gonna be a fun sheet to collage later. Alright, so once I get that, then I really everybody's talking about grinders, hoagies, and subs. Oh boy. So again, pressing, really using my fingers to press in so that the paint sinks in to the page. Now you gotta be careful. You don't want to be rubbing so hard if you've got 2 sheets of paper down on a big plate and give yourself a paper cut. I know the ex-safety manager in me has to say it, but yeah, nobody needs a paper cut. All right, let's see. This could be good. This could be interesting. Well, definitely see the green. So, you know, I guess because you have to put a thin layer of paint on that second layer. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. If it was black, I really like the red. You know what? We're gonna do that red again with the bright aqua green with this teal color. And the blue, like I said, it's not bad. It needs some white and black now. But that yellow did kind of turn greenish. So let's see this side. Now, if you're using craft paint, lots of times you don't have to think about it, right? Most craft paints, even though yellow can be shifty, there too, are a little bit more opaque than some of these colors. Oh, this one's fun. Look at that. See, because Mary Beth Shaw's stencil, it had more areas that were not open, right? Where the plastic of the stencil, where you see a lot of that yellow, which again looks slightly green. But we'll live with it. But I love how I love how the red turned out on this one. And you know, when you cut these out, you don't have to use the full sheet of anything, right? If I cut these prints, you can make them into cards. That's a real simple card, just to have a fancy print like this. And we've done a few of them before. You can print right on the cards that they sell at Michael's or ones that you folded yourself. I'm just gonna, it's not dry. When your papers come off the plate like this, they are a little wet. So I don't want to rip it. So I'll show you, we'll cut out a card and see what it looks like here in a minute. Just taking a sip of coffee and looking at, see, Linda, the yellow is still tricky. When I was in the US, we ate a lot of Jimmy John's. That was delicious. All right. So what did I say the next colors? I wanted to do that red, the red and the green. But thinking. I think I'm going to start with black though. Maybe I'll do it in reverse and show you what black looks like the last layer. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do red, bright aqua green, and black as the last layer instead of the first. Yeah, same if you're using the white on the first or second layer. It gets a little shifty. Night, Sandra. Thank you, my friend. I really like this shade of red, though, I must say. And in any of these layers, you can do multiple colors. Don't feel that you're only tied down to one. Like right now, I could add some black. Well, not if I'm going to pull on black. But don't be afraid to use whatever you enjoy using. The next one we'll do some faux leather with the stacked books here. Somebody remind me, because I'll get all worked up. Look at that. Again, I put too much red down. Oh, this is such a wonderful shade of red. Good thing I bought the big jar. Jimmy John's delivers in the US? I think Mr. Sub in Canada delivers. All right, let's talk more. I'm going to use both coffee ones again. Going to flip it over so that my L's will be right side up when we print it. And let's see. I like when they overlap. Okay, let's find a piece of deli paper. And I've said this before. You can be more conscious of where you're printing, like you're pulling these intermediate prints. This particular print, for example, you can pull this on a different a different piece of paper that you've already half printed on. You've already have some other design on there, so to layer your prints like that. I just, for the sake of time, oh my gosh, look at how much red was on there. Oh boy, that's a lot of red. Too thick, my friends, too thick. It's okay. And again, you can have as much paint as you want left on there. It's just going to change the look of your the final print. But that's the fun in all this mono printing. You never get the same thing twice. And I think for me, that's why it never gets old. I've been scrapbooking, stamping since the late 90s, and this mixed media art. I've been obsessed with the art journaling and this type of stuff now for 6 or 7 years. And all the tools I've bought over the years. This is one, the Gelli plate, and all the different ones, the sizes they have and such, is the one tool that I've bought, and I know it's not cheap, right? This bad boy is, it's not cheap, but this is the one tool that I use all the time. Like if you think of my die cutter, although my friend Laurel gave me that, thank you. But a lot of the things that I've bought over the years, you just don't, pull it out all the time. This bad boy, it never gets old because there's always something new to do with it. It's always a surprise every time. So I like it. Who's asking where everybody's from? Hair dryer. Again, each layer has to be completely dry before you go the next time, or else that's where sometimes it doesn't pick up the whole entire print. Night Orla. Yeah, the jelly plates are not cheap. $70 for the big one. But I'm telling you, I've got every last penny worth, that's for sure. Well, this is drying a bit. I can show you something. And I showed this, I've Instagrammed and tweeted and Facebook this picture. But, my stencils don't just have to be used on the plate. Where's the one I did over here? Right here. And we're going to be doing a whole bunch of different things with it later. But I really liked how this turned out. This is, in the background, you see my foam stamp that I cut. I don't know where it is right now. The texture, this one, just out of a piece of fun foam, and painted my whole plate with black and wiped it out. But I love how that looks. But you know me, I like the grungy. Okay, back to this bad boy. Is it dry? Sometimes your hands get so much paint on them, this technique doesn't necessarily work to show if your paint is dry or not, but we're good. All right, so the next one I said we were going to do bright aqua green. So let's choose some stencils again. I think I'll use this. That's again a Mary Beth Shaw stencil. And I think I'll do 2 6x6s. So StencilGirl also sells 6x6 stencils. Not of my designs necessarily, but of other designs. So this one, oh boy, I can't remember the name of the artist of this one. But I love the alphabet. Similar to my handwriting, somewhat different. How do I get my composition pages in my book so flat? Is because I glue a whole bunch together. I always use, and it's just my preference, I like to glue 2 pages together because I'm rough on my pages, and it, believe me, one if I don't glue them together, it's bad news. But I use a glue stick, put it on both sides. Um, I try to flatten it out with my hands. Sometimes, I might get a brayer or something, but mostly just with my hands. And then I stack it. I stack them. I put a whole bunch of heavy books underneath it and let it dry overnight. So I do a bunch of different pages and then I dry it like that. And this one is by my wonderful friend Maria McGuire. I'm sure she's probably lurking right now. It's her birthday today as well. Happy birthday, Maria and Sherry. And not that Martha. I'm not sure if she's here. But this is Maria McGuire stencil, and one of my favorites because I love chevrons and I love doilies. So you don't have to use always 12 by 12 stencils, or excuse me, 9 by 12 or bigger stencils. You can use some little guys. So I'm going to use 2 different ones over here. Also, if you have the 6 by 6 plate, the round plates, the smaller plates, any of these stencils still work. So let's do that. See how that goes. All right, bright aqua green. One of my favorite colors as well. It is almost the exact same color as one of Dina Wakley's paints from Ranger. So is the pink, in my humble opinion. But we won't go there tonight, I suppose. All right. Yeah, lots of birthdays today. It's wonderful. November 7th. All right. And the next one we'll do, again, somebody's going to have to remind me because I'll get so excited about some other color combination or something, but we've got to do some faux leather looking ones. So my goal here is to get an even color. That's why sometimes you see me go this way, which could be trouble if you have more than one paint color down. I'm telling you, if you can afford it, it's worth the money. I know a lot of people have made their own and such. I've not tried that. Okay, so Mary Beth Shaw stencil over here, and so again, I'm gonna have to put this bad boy upside down. I think Scorpio is a water sign, which Scorpio is a water sign, isn't it? I'm not necessarily believe in horoscopes. Like the ones you see in the newspaper, to me, is just like, this is just my opinion. It's like, it's just for fun. You read them and have a giggle, or I do anyways. But the characteristic traits of a Leo, absolutely. I am 100% a Leo. So, and somebody once told me that water sign, because I'm a Leo and it's a fire sign, water signs and fire signs could be trouble. Because water puts out fire. I don't know how we got in this conversation either. Oh, because I was saying happy birthday to everybody. Okay, so I want to be quick with this. I want to make sure I try to get all the details of these 2 6x6 stencils, but at the same time, I don't want to press so hard that I remove the first layer of paint. Oh, see, I removed some of the red crusty bits onto there, which is still cool. Don't think that, you've ruined it. Oh my goodness, I picked up some of the red. Relax. There's no right or wrong. All right. So again, I'm going to remove the stencil now. We can take a sneaky peek. Can you see it? All right, so we got some pretty light colors going on. Let me dry this and let's think about what color. I guess, should we pull it with cream? Should we pull it with white? Hair dryer. So the first plate I bought was an 8x10 jelly plate. And then I bought the big one, and like my friend Jean, I cut the 8x10 jelly plate into what, 4 or 5 sizes, a 5x7 and a 3x5. And I think for the green to show up nicely, Carol, I think it needs to be light. Cream on left, black on white, with a gray blend in middle. Cream on left and black on, I think you meant right, and blend in the middle. Yeah, I can do cream and black just to show you the difference on the light color. I'm drying the jelly plate. I'm drying the paint, this green paint that's on the jelly plate. Yeah. With a hair dryer on cool. Very important that this is all completely dry before the next coat. Next color, I mean. I'm drying with that cool setting. Yeah, you don't want to use a heat gun. It melt your plate, could cause a fire. It's bad news. Yeah. Sometimes I cheat. Listen to the hairdryer change noise. It's just to warm it a little bit, then I go back. So like 2 seconds hot, but that's just cheating. I don't. Be careful. That's all I gotta say. All right. So that's dry. So cream and black. Let's see. Unbleached titanium. I hope I have some more in here. I'm gonna have to go to Michael's again this week. Rats. All right. So let's do a little cream. Told you I need some more cream. Oh no. Then that was too much. Rats. Again. Maybe this is going to be mostly cream because I don't want to waste the paint. Yeah, it's going to be all cream because it came out a little too much. But I can't pull on black paint. Well, that's not going to really show. Sorry about that. Even this is too much paint. Oh, man. Hate when that happens. So if it's too much paint, I just clean my brayer on a piece of paper. And then I'm just going to use my brayer to remove some of that paint, clean it again. So you want it to be thin enough that you can just start to see, and I'm hoping some it's showing on camera, maybe not with this much paint, but you still want to be able to see some of the stencils underneath. All right, I gotta pull. Uh-oh, forgot to get my papers ready. This is the only one where time that you have to kind of be quick. Put your pull-up papers down. Oh, I got that one sideways. But once you put the papers down, I wouldn't try, you shouldn't try to pull them up again necessarily because you'll transfer paint and you won't get that clean image. I'd rather deal with a crooked image. Razor Frazen? I gotta go to the Razor Frazen Michaels again? Sweet goodness. Yeah. Good night, Colleen. I'm not sure she's already gone. Pick some. The deli paper is not necessarily porous, right? Maybe it is a little bit, but it doesn't. You definitely have to rub it more to have the paint stick on the deli than if you just have them on the cardstock. All right. Oh, I still got a teeny bit in the where I put it on crooked. I just clean these parts up first so that I don't get too much paint on my hands. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. But again, we want to have a 2-minute massage. I really hope everybody enjoys the designs. My stomach's been in knots for, I love them, but again, I don't know just because I love them if everybody else is going to love them. So, I hope everybody enjoys the designs and thinks they're useful. I do, but I think they're awesome. And I do appreciate everybody's support. The outpouring of love on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook is amazing. Thank you all so much. Lots of times, a lot of us use Firefox. All right. So again, I'm gonna massage it for a while. You know, you don't want any premature liftage going on, but you can take a peek. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. Oh, cool. Now it's interesting because within the layers of even though I used green, you can see the coffee like this came out cool because this alphabet stencil 6x6 alphabet stencil has a whole bunch of the stencil still around it, then it's actually really colored the coffee cups over here. This again, my stencil, this open coffee cup stencil is called Coffee Please. I love how that looks. Up here it just shows some texture. It's harder to see. Seems like I didn't remove enough of the green paint. It does look wintry. Would be just a cool Christmas card. I can see just putting something, a sentiment right here would be perfect. All right, let's look at this one. Is the red on the bottom? The red was the first layer, yes, which means it's going to be the top. So let's pull this. Oh wow, this is hard to see in some parts. Again, because I'm using the red in the first layer rather than the black. If where the red was, if that's black, you're really going to be able to see the coffee cups come through. But I love it. It's very interesting the way that my stencil mixed in with Mary Beth Shaw's geometric type stencil here. So it's more abstract, I suppose, than the real, where we use black, which I'm going to use next again, where you really see where's another one? Where you really see it on top. But that's cool. This one also looks a little Christmassy. Well, red and green, I suppose. But what's fun with this particular one, nothing's stopping me now from I'm pointing. Put something in my hand and I start pointing with it. But I need to add some black. I can add some black on top of this now to highlight certain things. Maybe we'll do that a little bit later. But what we have to do is to make our stacked books look like leather. So I just need to wipe off. Oh, I already have a baby wipe ready. Thanks, Ash. So just wipe off. Okay, so color-wise, I believe, let's look at the sample again. And it's, if you're a little bit more organized than I am sometimes, some people, if you can take notes on what colors you used. So we're going to try to replicate this particular one. So I definitely used black, and then I put on probably a burnt ochre, and I pulled with cream. Okay. burnt ochre. I always get those wrong. Maybe it's burnt umber and yellow ochre. I'm working on it, my friends. I'm studying. Yes, yellow oxide. Sweet goodness, totally wrong color anyways. And we got titanium white. But I think I'm going to do some yellow ochre and some brownish color. Let's see. I think I'm going to do a yellow ochre mixed with a little bronze in that middle layer. Then we'll pull with some cream. See what happens. Okay. So, get my stencils ready. Again, I use stacked books and coffee please. And again, when you get your stencils, when you get these particular ones, my stencils from StencilGirl, they're going to be thicker. I apologize again for Canada Post losing not losing them, they sent them back. My stencils, these are just the test copies, but I couldn't not use them tonight. So again, yours are going to be thicker. So don't look at them and think, oh my gosh, those are the flimsiest things ever. These are just the sample copies. So I completely apologize for that. I'm assuming they're going to come on Monday because that's Murphy's Law because they weren't here Friday. But I'm thinking and hoping that for sure they'll be here for Wednesday. All right. So again, I'm going to start with the black because I just think if we look at this particular print, you know, I like how the black looks. I like the black on every print, but you know, I try to show some variety. And you can use Liquitex Basics Mars Black in this particular, you know, just that I had this one around. All right. Start moving. This brayer size, how big is it? 6 inches? Is oh, I really like it. You can use any size brayer, but this, because it's so wide and it's a harder rubber. It's not really soft like say the Fiskars ones that we kind of use for stamping or brayering ink. This one's definitely a little bit harder, but it's still rubber. It's not one of the plastic hard ones. Oh, for sure, Cheryl. So you know, that's the thing. Lots of times it depends on how successful they are. But in reality, I love them. I believe that they're going to be successful. So and again, I appreciate everybody that does support me. Okay, so let's get our stacked books. Let's talk more work. Again, the ones you order aren't going to be this thin. And if you're just arriving, these are JournalArtista Stencils from StencilGirl. This one's called Stacked Books. This one's called Coffee Please. And the one with L's is called Drink Some Coffee. And again, I think I said it in the first little bit earlier that I was very close to calling it Drink Some Coffee Paula. But, you know, if you're not in our group, or people that aren't in the group may not understand that. Hi, Cheryl. Bridgeton Cheryl. Why? What'd I say, Linda? Did I say something wrong? I don't know. Never know with Linda. Alright, so there's a little bit, maybe too much left over there. You just have to judge it. You have to, you know, you can take all the paint off except for what's under the stencil if you want more of a clean look, or you can let some of this stuff, some of these bits like this to be grungy. This brand, I'm not sure if it even oh yeah, it does. Hold the fort. It says SD. I think that's a D, or it could be an ESSDEE. ESSDEE. No, my stencils aren't in a set. No, they're single. And again, they don't have to be stacked books if you don't want them. They could be a multitude of other things. Buildings. I'm working on some pages now where it's like a cityscape. So I probably chatted too much and removed too much of that black. But what are you gonna push for? Hair dryer. I'm very interested to see what people like and what people buy. That helps me in the future too, right? They're only gonna be a little bit thicker, Linda. Like, they're gonna be the thickness of the other stencil girl. Know what I mean, Vern? Ah, Linda. Isn't everything 6 inches? So there's gonna be some good crusty bits up here. The elves drink some coffee is, well, I love them all, but I guess because it's personalized that I have such an affinity for it. But all right, so we're dry. So this next layer, I'm gonna put down two different colors. I'm gonna put down the yellow oxide, and it's also Liquitex Basics. When I first bought Liquitex Basics, I bought the biggest set, 48 colors, whatever it is, the 2 ounce. These are just little 2 ounce tubes, and I would use them to see what colors I used the most. And then if I bought the bigger ones after that. Well, yellow oxide, I did buy the bigger one already. They're good for traveling too. And I'm telling you, when did I buy these? We went to Philadelphia, Laurel and I. That's got to have been 3-4 years ago. All right, so little yellow oxide, and I'm going to use a little bit of bronze, Liquitex Basics bronze. And I'm going to mix, I'm going to really mix these up. Well, I mean, I want some color separation, but I'm not going to be worried about if these blend, right? I kind of want them to blend to get a real grungy look. Now, I don't want to see too many, of these splots over here from where I put it down. So I do want to blend that out. Definitely need a little bit of, I probably shouldn't do this while I need a little bit more paint. Liquitex Soft Body. I have a bunch. I haven't tried it yet. Soon, very soon, I'm going to use my Liquitex Soft Body on my plate. Okay. But Liquitex Soft Body paint, the ones I sent you anyways, Linda, that's an artist grade paint. That's not like Liquitex Basics. Okay. Oh. So now I'm going to get a piece of deli paper, two, and I'm going to crunch them up. Sorry, it was loud. I'm going to crunch them up, and then that's where you're going to start removing some of the paint with the deli paper. Now you could use wax paper for this, whatever, maybe not tin foil, but just like the old rag painting back in the day, that's what we want to do to get that texture. Now you can always take a peek to see if you've got enough off. Awesome, Debbie, thank you. Not so much, so I'm going to go back. And come off again. All right. I think what I actually used like a darker brown. Hold the fort. Oh yes. I'm gonna pick it up with some burnt sienna. Instead of cream, I'm gonna pick this up with a little cream and a little burnt sienna. All right, let's try it. Let's try it now. See what happens. Oh, I almost put the paint on. We almost had a really bad flop opportunity. Gotta dry this layer. What time do we got? 11:30. Hopefully everybody's, or some people are doing some work while watching. I love to see when somebody's been arting during my show. If you copy me, at me, JournalArtista on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you share your work, Facebook. I almost had a big opportunity. All right, let's take a sneaky peek on the other side and see if I have to add a darker tone to it or if it's going to show. Because what I'm worried about right now, if I pull it with a dark color, am I going to see any of what I just put down because it's semi-translucent? Let's pull it with cream. Well, you know what? I'll pull with cream, add a little bit of brown, see what happens. So again, you know, next Wednesdays, and we are going to be doing a bunch of different techniques. Don't think that it's just, look, Bella chewed this bad boy. It wasn't me. That was Bella. It wasn't me. At least she didn't get it open. So this is, what did I say it was? Burnt sienna. I'll mix it together. I did, Carol, seeing the silhouette tree. It was awesome. I know I didn't respond. I guess I've had a crazy busy week. I don't normally go out so much. I'm not one to go out so much. Well, that's a weird looking. Let's move that around. We don't want those kind of splots. We have to put more. That's bad news. It might look good on the end result, but the end result. Kill myself. I kill myself. Oh boy. You gotta laugh at your own jokes. If you can't laugh at your own jokes, you know, what can we do? So I'm gonna take a sheet of cardstock here. And I think I'll print the rest. I'll show you how it turns out on deli paper. This is the deli paper my friend Jane sent me, which I believe is from Sam's Club, or Costco. And we're going to take the bigger deli to put on top. So don't think you have to do this on cardstock. I'm going to show you here maybe another week or so that you can put cards directly on this. It doesn't have to be big sheets of paper. Yeah, check out Whip Smart, Carol. Whip Smart, WHIPPSMART on Instagram. Amazing work. That's for sure. All right. Ooh, that's a nice, cool color combination. That's gonna be fun. Oops, I was a little aggressive with that pull. Alright, sorry if there was a little Ustream glitch for a second in the chat. Let me see, hopefully my recording is all good. So, again, printing on the deli, you just might have to rub a little bit longer to make sure it's really dry, because it doesn't absorb necessarily into the paper, into the like it does into the cardstock. What deli paper then? Oh, the one with all the, yeah, that one's gonna be fun. The deli print with all the strips. All right, so we can take a peek. Oh, see what I mean, Vern? See what I mean, my friends? I'm still leaving a whole bunch of stuff there on the plate. I must say, printing on cardstock with this particular technique is my favorite, but it can be done. I've actually have had some awesome prints on deli paper. Rub, rub, rub. And yeah, the lines on the deli is cool too. You'll see in a second. The lines, the cracks. It looks like more like cracks on this particular. It's the folds of the deli when the so my color choices. I love how this looks. Don't this is going to be some cool collage. But the colors, obviously didn't get them right from how I did it over here. Let's just say. But like I said, that's the fun of mono printing. You can never get the same thing twice. So I'm going to massage again. Take a peek. Got almost ready. This is definitely a this can test your patience, this process, but every time I just love the way it looks, and it's worth the time it takes for me. All right, rub, rub, rub. Boy, it looks like somebody spilt coffee on my books. Oh, and I didn't get the top, but hey, it's a fun one. So I used, using the same technique with the deli paper, scrunching up the deli paper, but with different colors. You can see how completely different this looks. On this one, I must have used black, the yellow oxide, and then pulled with put burnt sienna. Only one color, right? I was trying to do two. I put copper in here and all this other stuff. I could cut these out like borders, right? Don't think they have to use the whole thing at the same time. But I really like that. And like I said, we can get into, if I put my plate over here for a second, right? We can go back to the burnt sienna that Bella chewed. Put some on my mat. This one is getting a little chunky. I bought this stuff probably because Bella poked holes in the lid when she chewed on it. So I bought some new brushes from Liquitex. So let's just pick out, these are tiny brushes. Like I said, I'm practicing stuff. So, okay. So wet it a little bit. My water is probably absolutely full of black paint. All right, let's see. So you can go into the corners of this. This is pretty red. I must have been using a different brown. And my page is a little wet. My arm is sticking to it, so it may not be the best thing to work on over here. Because my arm is sticking in it. So again, this might not be the right color, but just trying to show you. You can add a different color on top, paint it in to get the some more shading here. I probably go in with a darker. This needs a darker color. Let's add a little bit of black. Bella has, speaking of, ladies are talking about my dogs. Bella has this funny bump on her eye. I'm not on her above eyelid, so like they just went to the vet last week, and I think it came on. When did I first see it? A couple days after we went to the vet. I don't know if it's just like some type of see, again, I keep saying it's the first time I've ordered. I've owned dogs, so I'm not quite sure what's supposed to be normal or not. I'm not going to go any further, but you can add. Well, I got fingerprint in there now, so I'm gonna have to add more down the side. You can start shading and popping out your books a little bit more if that's what you choose. Night, Pam. Anyway, I'm gonna have to look at it if it doesn't go away. It just looks like it looks like a ginormous pimple almost. But I was reading online that it's, probably not cancer or anything because it just, God forbid, not gonna, it came up so quickly because it says that if it's like a cancerous bump, it wouldn't show up overnight. Like it would be a progressive thing. Anyway, I need to wipe this up. All right, so I think I'm done for tonight. I appreciate everybody being here, and again, all the love and support. I really hope that you enjoy my stencils designs. Again, check them out at StencilGirl Products. I put my jelly. StencilGirlProducts.com. You can look for my stencils under Paula Phillips over there. And again, tune in the next few weeks. We'll be using them in different applications. So don't think that is just for jelly prints, but the jelly prints are pretty cool. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see if I can find. I was hoping I could find some black. Anyway. So try them out. Let me know how you like them. I can't wait till people start receiving them and I see some of the things that you guys create. And well, that one was interesting. But again, you're never gonna. Every time you jelly plate, you'll get something totally different. I think I got stuff everywhere. All right, so I'll see everybody on Wednesday. I definitely have to try to stream during the day. I don't know where the 3 weeks of Simon on vacation went. Well, I do know it's because I spent a lot of it with my grandmother, but I wasn't able to stream during the day. But I want to catch some of our UK friends. So watch if you don't follow me on Twitter or Facebook, definitely follow there. Or if you look up top here, you want to follow on Ustream, and then you get emails most of the time to when I go live. So again, I appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for all the love and support. I am beyond excited. But see everybody on the internets. Much love, my friends.